Hi, my name is Richard. Welcome to my video about Bionicle. I'm going to be showing you how the designs for the main flagship toys went from this to this over time and how exactly it got there. So, let's start with the very first Toa team, the Toa Mata. So, we start off 2001 with the very first Toa team, the Toa Mata, which these two are a part of. You got Tahu, Toa Fire, Lewa, Toa of Air. So are basically elemental superheroes that are the heroes and protagonists of the story. Toa as you can see, are very simple. Not a whole lot of pieces. Most complex thing is the gear system in here. Turn this big gear on the back, makes the arm move. And there was a game with this that you were supposed to play with your friends, where you try to knock the mask off, like this. Yeah. That was the big play feature. You twist the gear, try to knock your opponent's mask off. It also came in these canisters you could put a mask on top of, and you could buy, blind packs to get more masks, and hopefully get a golden mask which had all of the powers. You could also put multiple heads on these to display all the masks. Now, each Toa has a decent amount of individuality between them. Tahu is the standard one, obviously, because he's the leader. Lewa, his arm is kind of funky. He's got the big axe. Kopaka, he's got the shield. Golly, both of her arms can move. She's got the hooks and the joint on her chest. Onawa has the hunched over kind of look, with his head being lower, and then Pohatu's entire torso is upside down. Yeah, they did a great job making them all very different with the limited amount of pieces they had. That'll do it for this year. So next we move on to their upgraded versions, Toa Nuva. So now we arrive at 2002 with the Toa Nuva, upgraded versions of the Toa Mata. They basically just gave them a few new pieces. New armor, new weapons, new masks, new legs, and they made both arms able to move, doubling up on the gear system for everyone instead of just like Golly. Tahu here has two new swords, which you can actually put together to make kind of a lava surfboard, because at this time, extreme sports were very popular. They were trying to capitalize on that, kind of have them ride on it. Here it is. Have to use that piece to keep them together. Now, these guys can be very hard to pose because their legs are all one piece, and it can lead to them being destabilized very easily. Same goes for their arms. There he is on his lava surfboard. Turn it around. Putting next to his Towachi counterpart, you can see that they're still the same character, but just upgraded. Lewa, he's pretty much the same as Tahu. Just, his swords are different and his mask and color. Dolly has the same leg pieces for her arms, and you can put her hook anchors with the propellers on her feet, which I will show you now. Okay, take out this piece, put it on her feet, put on the propeller. It's a very delicate process. And then you slide it back into her foot. Voila, it's on her foot. Now for the other one. See? Allows her to swim faster. And because of the hole in the back of their head, you can have them go like this. See? Now she's swimming. Uh, Kopaka, he's got two swords now, and he's still got his shield. You can put his swords on his feet like they're skis. Because again, extreme sports. Now you just take them off of the hand and put it through, like with Golly. Now for the other one. Gotta line up just right so that the axle goes through. Ah, he's skiing now, also holding a shield. Yeah. You can also do the same for Onua here, and with his little new stocky arms. Take off. I don't know what these are supposed to be. Take them off. And take out the axle. Put the weapon on. It could be kind of finicky. Right, that's one on. Now for the other. Now he can ski on top of rock slides or something. That's what they showed him doing in the commercials. And he's still got his hunched over look. Um, Pohatu now actually has weapons instead of just hands. And both of his legs can move. Masks still come off just as easily. Because as you can see, they're only held in by a stud. Yeah. Now for Lesson 3, there was not a new set of Toa. We only got villains, but through a box set, we did get essentially the 6th Ranger of the Takanuva, Toa of Light. As you can see, he's built pretty much the same as the others. You know, big difference with him is his mask is actually held in by an axle now. Since 2003, they phased out the whole knock off the mask thing. Yeah, he's got his staff. Oh, hell, his mask was coming off. Now you can put it through both of his hands. He had a bike, which I don't have anymore. Do that. So you can. He's got a thing right there for his staff too. That'll do it for these, but I want to show you the combination models, which is what happens when you put all these guys together. So now I present you with the two combination models for the Toa Nuva. Toa Kaita Akamai. It's made out of Tahu, Toa of Fire, Onawa, Toa of Earth, Patu, Toa of Stone. Yes, they have Earth and Stone. Earth is more seismic. Yeah, you can see how much intricate the designs are, how they really thought out how do we put these things together. Oh, it's not as good as the 2001 combination models that you can see here. And you can swing his arms. Not all pieces are used, but pretty much all of them are. He was the easier of the two. Here we have Toa Kaita Waruhi, made out of Lewa, Toa of Air, Gali, Toa of Water, Kopaka, Toa of Ice. It's a lot more stocky. Now, his foot likes to come off, but that's probably just because of my pieces. Yeah, you can twist. It's scary. You could twist gears to move the arms. And then, there's a lot more leftover pieces with this one. And got all the armor, all that. And they don't look that good, but it's about being able to do it that's just amazing. So, that's it for the first 3 years of Bionicle, which were initially meant to be the only years, but it was wildly successful and kept LEGO from going out of business. So next, we'll be moving on to 2004, Metro Nui in the Toa Metro. So now we arrive at year 2004 for Bionicle with Toa Metro. What makes them different is now they have knees, and so you can pose them better, at least for the legs. The arms though, because now the gearbox system is included right here in the chest. I'll open it up so you can see it. So easier said than done. Alright, see, there's a third gear in the back there on an axle that causes these other two gears here to move. However, because of that, the arms, you can't really move them independent of each other. There are ways to get around this though, but I don't really know how to do that. And they changed up the masks a bit. Now, all of them plug in by an axle, and they have these new heads, which, coincidentally, can also be used with the original stud masks. See? This became like the default head design for Toas going forward. And also, the weapons on the back. Wakame here has a disc launcher. And I'll show you, it in action here. Keep all of my ammo in his canister here. You can see, got all kinds of things in there. To get out his disc. Just load the disc in, squeeze. It's not quite as powerful as it once was. Yeah. The other Toa aren't that much different. It's really just different colors, masks, and weapons. Like Mato here, just got swords instead. Oh yeah, you can put once again, you can make it so the head can tilt up. So they've got ball joint now. I actually have two of this guy, and I have no idea why. Got the other one in this canister here, which can still be used, restoring them. See? Just gotta take the arms out, which is actually a lot easier than you would think. Yeah. One arm and the other. Well, he's ready now. Swords also go on his back like wings for him to fly. He's a Toa of air. They always find ways to make Toas of air fly. Now, this year, the canisters, the lids, actually put two of them together. They actually make these pods that the small sets, the Matoran, could be stored in. It was a big part in the story. See? And the figure can actually fit in here. Another big part of the Toa Metro design is this. This whole lower body piece allows them to have the knee joints with those pieces, because now they can hook on instead of being plugged in by an axle like the Toa Metro and Nuva. And you can also use this to make them taller. That's really it for 2004. So next we'll go to 2005, the Toa Hardika. So now we arrive at 2005 with the Toa Hardika. I used to have 3 of them, but this is the only intact one I still have. But once again, there isn't much individual variety between them. It's just colors, weapons, and the head. It's not that good. Now they still have the same kind of lower body piece as Toa Metro, because they're the same characters but mutated. Still got the knees. Got new feet. This is the last time you'll be seeing the gear system, which has been relegated to just his big arm. That's all it does. You got this other little stumpy arm. And the main gimmick for this year was the Retruca spinner. Take these little flying discs, put them on the back, insert the ripcord, and then watch it fly. Thankfully that landed in my bin. Yeah, this was not a very great year for Bionicle. Seriously, it's like, they're designed to have this little pins stick out. It's not just me. The instructions tell you to do that. Toa Hardika are just not good. I also don't have the canisters for them anymore. But next year is a big change with the Toa Inika. So now we arrive at 2006 with the Toa Inika, or Inika. It can be pronounced both ways. And these guys, they are a huge improvement over the Toa Hardika. The gear system is gone, as you can see, but now they are fully posable, because they don't have to design behind the arms or the legs, in the case of Pohatu, to be able to move by a gear. This makes it a lot easier and is better for displaying them and also playing with them for things other than the intended play features. Which, for this year, we've got light up swords that still work after all these years. I don't know what batteries are in this, but they're amazing. Then you've got the Xanosphere launchers here that launch these little plastic balls. Each one is supposed to come with 4, but I've lost 2 of them. You just push on the back here. It's connected. It's made up of this base, the yellow part. And then you've got the magazine holder. And then you've got basically a plastic tube running through this piece that also has an axle that goes in and pushes the spear out. Hold on, I'm in a bit of trouble. Yeah. See? Like that. It's really neat. The Inika are also much taller and have these really cool clear plastic joints. Fortunately, though, I had to replace one of his arms because this piece is very broken, as you can see. His arm would just fall off. Their masks, though, are very different from everything else we've seen franchise before and after this. They're made out of rubber and go on to this green and white head that's connected to an axle on a ball in a joint piece, in one of the hand joint pieces. So you can see that's plugged into the rest of the body by an axle pin. And there isn't that much variety between the individual designs, though. Just colors, armor, masks, and sometimes you get stuff like Pookie having this chain here and a different chest piece. Yeah, it still needs some improvement. I also had to replace one of his shoulder pads because I lost it a long time ago. His sword still works too. And at this point, LEGO stopped making Toas of stone brown because the stone Toas haven't really sold well, and LEGO thought that changing the color brown was the issue. When you can see right here, they always shove them in the back for the promotional material. LEGO didn't really realize that and continued doing that. We got Toas of stone having any other color than brown. But anyways, next we'll move on to the transformed versions of the Toa Nika, the Toa Mari, 2006. So now moving on to 2007, we have the Toa Mari, seen here. I do not have the toys for any of them, sadly, so I had to just show you pictures. What I can show you, though, is this year's main gimmick. It's called Kordak Blaster. It's basically a little machine gun. It uses an air pump to fire out these little missiles. Just push on the back here and fire out. This year's theme was all about underwater. Toa having to adapt to fight and breathe underwater. And for the marketing, they smartly made Toa of water this time kind of the center piece of the marketing, again, as seen here. And this was basically still the Nika system, but much improved. So you can see there's a lot more individuality and variety among the designs. They aren't just copies of each other with slight differences. Holly has wings, Toro has his claw, and he also has the 2001 Toa Mata feet, which was a very big surprise, because they have likely gotten rid of them by that point. Then you got Kongu with two blasters instead of an individual weapon. And Jala, a Toa Fire, he's got a crab that carries his launcher. Overall, just very, very good designs. Big improvement. But there was one very big issue that arose in this year. The dreaded fragile lime green pieces that plague every Bionicle fan. You see, there was some kind of cooling error with the production, and so the lime green joint pieces on Holly and other figures from this year were very fragile and are notorious for easily breaking, like this. Even though this isn't the same color, this will happen a lot to those pieces. But other than that, though, this was a very, very good year. If you're wondering why I haven't dress the canisters or the combination models for a while, it's because over time LEGO just kind of stopped caring about them. I'll throw up pictures for the Toa Metru and Hordika combo models, but I don't think the Anika and Mari had ones. If they do, I'll show those as well. So thank you for sticking with it this long. We're almost at the end. Next up is the first half of 2008 with the Toa Fantoka. So now we come to 2008 with the Toa Fantoka. With this year, they basically took the battle to the skies of the heart of the Bionicle world, so they needed to have everyone be able to fly. And so we have Lewa with new jetpacks on his arms, Kopaka with new wings, Pohatu getting propellers. Once again, they made him not brown. This is a different version of him, but this is the closest I have. But they still look relatively close to other Toamata and Nuva themselves, which is more than I can say for the next wave. They're pretty solid versions of the Unica build, with this blaster here being brand new play gimmick for this year. I had to keep introducing new ones because it didn't have the gear system anymore. Watch, just turn this right here and fires out a ball. Pretty neat, huh? To explain the change in canon, they basically just got brand new armor that will adapt to whatever situation they need. Yeah, and that's really all I have to say about Fantoka. So next we'll be looking at the Mystica, which, oh boy. So now we arrive at the second half of 2008 with the Toa Mystica. This is the only one of them that I have. The Mystica, they're alright designs, but they do not look like the characters they're supposed to be at all. Like this guy and this guy are supposed to be the same character. Had to replace his joints too because they were all breaking. Because in this year, all the joint pieces are fragile now. Look, this is one of his joint pieces. You can see it's broken. The others have lost the friction too because now they're kind of square at the bottom instead of round like they were before. And still have his canister. You can see how it's properly supposed to look like. Since I don't have Golly and Ottawa though, just to show you pictures. And as you can see, they don't quite look like their original selves either. They're basically the Unica build again, with a little bit of variation. They do a great job with making them all very distinct though. There's something I forgot to mention is in this year, you can also put these little Matoran guys on their backs, give them a little buddy to fly around with. So the good things from this year. See, the main gimmick for them is this blowgun thing that I have lost the ammo for. So I'll have to show you a separate video of that. It's an alright year overall. Just they don't quite resemble who they're supposed to be. But that's all I have to say for 2008. So next time we move on to the second to last year, 2009, with the Glatorians. So now we arrive at the penultimate year for Bionicle, 2009. And this was a soft reboot taking place on another planet. So in place of Toa this year, we got what are called Glatorians, which are basically gladiators. However, while they don't have elemental powers like the Toa, their designs would make you think otherwise because they are very indicative of their elements. Like Akar here with his flame sword, his bright red and orange, and his helmet coming off like a flame. You also have sculpted hands for the joints this time, instead of just the pieces that have been being used up until this point. Big play feature for this year was these Thornax launchers. Press it down, you fire it, and you'd play a game with these where you try to hit your opponent's figure, and each time you got hit, turn the health dial here down one, and when it reaches 0, you lose. They're really neat looking toys, but this year did not do as well as Lego wanted. And here the canister this year did not do well for the franchise, despite what Lego wanted. So now we'll be looking at the final wave Bionicle Stars. So now here we are at the end of Bionicle Generation 1 with the most lackluster line, Bionicle Stars. This line is a miracle that it exists, as cheap as it is. Lego was just gonna outright cancel, discontinue Bionicle after 2009, but the employees basically begged to be able to do one last year to wrap everything up, bring it to conclusion. So we got the very lackluster Bionicle Stars figures, where basically took 6 previous characters and put them into the Matoran build from 2008. It's just not very good, but you can't really hate it much because we're looking at it all. Big gimmick this time was you could collect these golden armor pieces that you could all put on Tahu, and the story was a big deal. And, there's not really a whole lot to say. The combination model, it's just a big clusterfuck of parts. Honestly, like, as much as I don't like these figures, I am happy that they exist because they bring it to a finale. That's really all I have to say. Thank you for sticking with me through this whole thing. Please give me a good rating.